In this video, we're going to meet Debbie, who's a fiber arts enthusiast and a minimalist. The van that she and her daughter built for $10,000, including the van, is a great example of what you can do with no experience, a little wood, and some items from IKEA. Her van even has an office because Debbie runs her business from the road.
Hi, I'm Debbie. My social media is called Fleece Train, which is F-L-E-E-C-E, like sheep's wool. Sheep's fleece, Fleece Train. This is a 2006 Econoline, a Ford E250, and it was a wheelchair van in its past life. Mostly my daughter and I built it. She was 19 at the time. We had some help from friends here and there, but mostly we bumbled through with no experience. We built this sofa that pulls out to be a twin bed and cut the mattress. And these were some of the first boards we ever cut, which was fun, and we learned a lot. Basically everything we did twice because we had no clue. Like, I bought the cabinets and the desk are from IKEA, which I thought, in the case of the cabinets, I thought I didn't know how to build cabinets, so I thought buying IKEA cabinets would be the easiest way to go. They're a great fit in here. The size and shape worked out great, but it turns out that by the time you build IKEA cabinets and then unbuild them and modify them and rebuild them to fit in a van, probably would have been easier to just build cabinets. We made a frame underneath to put them a little taller than they would normally be, so we could put drawer organizers from IKEA, these little boxes that come in all different sizes, and that just takes advantage of space that would have otherwise been wasted. The van, like I said, was a wheelchair van, had a big lift here. It was, I think, $5,000, maybe $5,500, something in that range to buy the van itself. And then I've actually never done the math, because basically I built it and then I left. And just haven't gotten around to it, but I think it was like another $5,000 worth of build out, which is reasonable, I think. There's a Dometic fridge back there that I think that's $600 or $700, something like that, and $2,000-ish altogether for the solar stuff. So, you know, another $1,500 or so on top of that for the rest of the stuff. My daughter came to visit in Colorado this spring and I wanted to have a good safe seat for her, so with a seat belt. So I looked on Craigslist and somebody was giving away a seat for free, so I had that installed.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was great. It's hard to say how long it took because I bought the van in the fall, like August or September, and we worked on it like weekends, mostly weekends, because it was dark at night and I work, and so mostly just weekends. 8 months maybe, but minus winter.
Sure.
So a few months of weekends. So it was pretty intense, but we muddled through, and I had help from some friends who knew, like my nephew helped cut holes and do some welding to fix some rust spots on the floor and a bunch of other things. My brother-in-law had tools for me to borrow, and I had a friend who knew solar stuff, so he helped me with the wiring just to make sure. I mean, I knew, but it was good to have a backup. Actually, two friends helped with the solar.
Can we see how your bed folds out?
Sure. All right, the bed just slides out like this. This is a build that was documented on, I think Traveling Troy was his name, the guy whose website I got this off of. And then this just folds down it fits down in there. And then I have a set of sheets that I put on it. I was concerned about that I'd fall down in the crease, but I really don't, and I think part of that is because it's such a really thick, really firm, it's like a gel-infused memory foam, I don't know, whatever. It's like 3 layers of foam, but it's also 12 inches thick, which is unnecessary, but ended up being a really good thing because I do not fall down in that crease, like, at all. I can tell it's there, but it's not in my way.
You'd be totally lost if you did.
It would be
12
it would be a pretty deep crease, yeah. I have a set of sheets in here. I have a queen size comforter from IKEA, down comforter that I put in this compression sack that just tucks away. Yeah, I like that it has a daytime mode and a nighttime mode because I work here, so I didn't want my bed to be right next to my desk, so I like that it's a sofa in the daytime. And then at night it has covers for all the windows that they're tucked around everywhere. And they just tuck right in. And sometimes they hold up better than other times, but mostly they're soft now because it's warm out.
Hot, yeah.
So sometimes I'll tuck a little something in here to keep it in place, but covers all the windows at night, so it's nice and private, which a lot of people are concerned about because of the windows. They think that that's a big deal, but I actually like the windows. And then I have a pretty tapestry on one side and a blackout curtain on the other side of this that I sewed. There used to be screws across right behind the bulkhead, and I changed those out for snaps, so the blackout curtain just snaps right in place. So at night it's entirely blocked out and cozy. So my daughter made my little flags, my little bunting. She and I are both all about knitting and crocheting and other fiber arts, so it was a good decoration. It was a good fitting thing.
Nice.
Everything in here is fiberglass, which I didn't know when I bought it. I expected to gut it, and I started to gut it and discovered that it was all fully insulated, which I guess makes sense if you're carrying around handicapped people in Massachusetts in the winter. Mm-hmm. Don't want them to freeze. So that I just ended up going, okay, and left all the fiberglass in place and passed go and collected $200 because I didn't need to gut it or insulate it or rebuild the interior. The drawback of that is that I couldn't build framing or tuck the wires in or whatever. That's okay.
No big deal.
Saved me so much work. It was worth it though, for considering how much time and work and money it can be to rebuild, and the more I think about it, to have to cut and frame or put new walls up around all these windows, that would have been a nightmare. So when the time comes to buy another van, I will be looking for another insulated handicap van because that was a huge bonus. I have screens on the front windows that are just held in place by magnets on the outside. I feel like keeping the windows covered and keeping the heat out serves me better sometimes than having it wide open and the warmth coming in from the sun. I have the fan up top. I have a little 12-volt fan down below that I put on my desk when I'm working, and keep all the windows covered and the bulkhead curtain up, and that keeps it actually pretty cool in here when I want it to be.
Nice.
But it's nice because I can uncover, if I'm next to a lake or something, I can just uncover the windows that I want to see what's outside. So that's nice.
Excellent. Tell us about your desk setup.
My desk also is from IKEA. It's just the smallest desk that IKEA sells, and I just cut one of the legs off to fit over. I made a little wooden box over the wheel well. That's where my inverter and everything is. My wires are all back there. And then just a hand-me-down kitchen chair because I didn't want a task chair with wheels because I thought, it'll be rolling all over the place, and I know I won't remember to attach it to anything every time I pull out.
Right.
So that little IKEA desk has been great, and I think it was about $50. So, if it falls apart, I will go buy another one and cut the leg off and new desk.
What kind of solar do you have, and
I
batteries
have
and all that?
200 watt, I get confused, 100 watt flexible panels on the roof. They're in the front here. They are attached with industrial strength Velcro as per manufacturer instructions. Even though I know there's possibly some drawbacks, or maybe for sure some drawbacks of the flexible panels, they're serving me really well. And I mounted my fan off center to make enough space that I could put 3 more panels on the roof if I need to, because I really had no idea. I just guessed with the 2 panels. I had no idea if I would need more. So I made sure I had more space in case I needed to add them. So those 200 watt flexible panels, and then I have my Renogy Rover charge controller. And under the bed in the back corner I have 200 amp hour Trojan AGM batteries. I run almost nothing off the 110. Almost everything is 12 volt. Turns out the only reason I actually need to turn it on is to charge my laptop and I have a rechargeable battery charger that I plug in once a week, once every other week or something like that. Otherwise the inverter is off and everything runs on 12 volt or USB.
Nice.
So, and that's been handy because those 2 little panels do it.
Yeah.
They do the trick. I have These two, I have two Lucy lights that I use for some of my light. So I charge them in the daytime, and then I have little hooks I hang them on. If I'm knitting at night, I just hang them up there, and they work out.
Perfect.
They work out great. And I also have this string of little fairy lights that I love, and I turn those on just dimly at night. There's a carbon monoxide detector and just tucked underneath in the back, and a smoke detector here. I have a camp stove, and I have a Mr. Buddy heater.
Okay.
I have still the first tank I ever bought of that 1 pound green tank of propane, because that's how often I use those things. I have a jet boil that I use at least once or twice a day, and that uses, what is this, isobutane and propane fuel. So that's another explosive gas, but I love that little jet boil thing. I use that for all kinds of stuff. I use it to make, it seemed ridiculous to spend the money to boil water, but I use it all the time to make coffee, and then also just, you know, there's a lot of things that you cook that all you really need is a little boiling water.
And are these RV latches, or were they from IKEA?
These are a story. These are actually my biggest complaint about my van.
Okay.
And it's a pretty small complaint, so I think that's pretty good for, you know, your first van self-built. These cabinets are RV cabinets. They're highly rated on Amazon. People seem to love them. I don't love them. There's this little plastic thing that it latches into. And what I found was that I'd be bumping down a major highway. The stuff inside would move, and it would push on the door and break that little thing off. So I bought probably 6 replacements so far, and you have to buy the whole thing.
Right.
Just to get this little bit, and I thought, okay, that's really not that big of a deal, except for that when they break, the door falls open and all my stuff falls out. So I finally, a few months ago, thought I'm gonna go with the very simple solution of a latch for each door, and I just latch that before I go, and it jiggles a little bit, but it keeps the doors from opening. And I haven't, none of these latches have broken since I added that little bit of extra support. So
they're afraid now.
Well, they damn well should be, because I was pretty tired of replacing them. So, you know, people say, you know, build your first van, live in it for 6 months so you can figure out what you really need. And honestly, the only complaint I've had about this van is those latches.
That's excellent.
Like, if I were to make another van, it would be exactly the same as this van.
I want to thank Debbie for sharing her beautiful van with us and showing us that with a lot of research and a can-do attitude, you can have an amazing living, working adventure vehicle. Please hit that thumbs up below and make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. And I want to thank you for your thoughtful comments and questions, so keep them coming and I'll do my best to respond. This is Joni with TheGalavan. Enjoy your journey.